The Spider Thread. One day, it is said that Lord Buddha, of Shakasama, was strolling alone along the edge of a lotus pond in the heavenly realm. The lotus flowers blooming in the pond were all pure white, like precious pearls. In the center of each flower, a golden stamen emitted an indescribably sweet fragrance, which filled the surroundings continuously. It was just the break of dawn in paradise. Eventually, Lord Buddha stood still by the edge of the pond, and through the leaves of the lotus plants covering the water's surface, he happened to observe the scene below. Beneath this heavenly lotus pond lies the very bottom of hell, so the crystal clear water allowed a clear view of the landscapes of the Sanzu River and the mountains of needles, just as if one were looking through a magnifying glass. At the bottom of that hell, there was a man named Kandata, and he was writhing and squirming along with other sinners. Kandata had committed various heinous crimes, including murder and arson, but he had one memory of doing something good. You see, once upon a time, as he was passing through a deep forest, he noticed a tiny spider crawling along the path. Initially, Kandata raised his foot to crush it, but he suddenly had a change of heart, thinking, no, even though it's small, it's a living being. Taking a life thoughtlessly is just too cruel. So, he decided not to kill the spider and instead helped it. While Lord Buddha was observing the scene in hell, he recalled that Kandata had once helped a spider. Reflecting on this act of kindness, he decided that if possible, he would rescue Kandata from hell as a reward for that simple act of goodness. Luckily, as he looked around, he saw a heavenly spider with an emerald-like color perched on a lotus leaf. This celestial spider was spinning a beautiful silver thread. Lord Buddha gently took hold of the spider's thread and, from among the pure white lotus flowers that resembled pearls, he lowered it straight down to the depths of hell, far below. Here, at the bottom of the blood pond in hell, was Kandata, along with other sinners, floating and sinking. Whichever way he looked, it was pitch dark. Occasionally, he would see something faintly rising, and that was the terrifying glow of the needles on the mountains of needles. The solitude was overwhelming, and the surroundings were as still as a grave. Occasionally, the only sounds were the faint sighs of the sinners. Those who had fallen this far into hell were exhausted from enduring various torments, and they had lost the strength to cry out. Therefore, even Kandata, the great sinner, struggled while choking on the blood of the pond, like a nearly dying frog, gasping for air. However, one day something remarkable happened. Kandata, almost absent-mindedly, raised his head and gazed at the sky above the blood pond. In the silent darkness, a silver spider thread, as if fearing to be seen by human eyes, began to descend from high above, emitting a faint light as it gracefully made its way towards him. Seeing this, Kandata couldn't help but clap his hands with joy. If he could cling to this thread and ascend as far as possible, he was certain he could escape from hell. Perhaps, if everything went well, he might even reach paradise. In that case, he wouldn't be chased up the mountains of needles anymore, nor would he be submerged in the blood pond. With these thoughts in mind, Kandata firmly grasped the spider's thread with both hands and began to climb upwards with all his might. After all, he was accustomed to such challenges, given his status as a hardened sinner. However, there is a vast distance between hell and paradise, so no matter how impatiently Kandata looked, he couldn't easily make his way up. After climbing for a while, Kandata eventually grew tired and could no longer ascend further. So, he had no choice but to take a break and hang in the middle of the thread, looking down far below. Upon doing so, he saw that the pool of blood he had been in just moments ago had vanished into the dark depths. Even the eerie, faintly glowing Needle Mountain had become nothing more than a distant memory beneath his feet. At this rate, he thought, he might actually be able to escape from hell. Kandata, while gripping the spider's thread tightly with both hands, let out a voice he hadn't used in years and laughed. Well. But suddenly, he realized that countless sinners were following him, just like ants in a line, climbing upward with all their might, right beneath the spider's thread. Seeing this, Kandata was both shocked and terrified, and for a while, He could only stand there with his mouth wide open, his eyes moving rapidly. How could this slender spider's thread bear the weight of so many people? If it were to break on the way up, even Kandata himself, who had come this far, would be sent tumbling back to hell. That would be a disaster. However, in the midst of all this, the sinners, numbering in the hundreds and thousands, continued to crawl up from the dark depths of the blood pool, steadily and diligently following the faintly glowing spider's thread in a single line. Unless something was done right now, the thread would surely snap in the middle. So, Kandata raised his voice and shouted, "Hey, you sinners! This spider's thread belongs to me. Who the hell do you think you are, climbing up here? Get down! Get down!" The moment he shouted, something unimaginable happened. The spider's thread, which had been fine until now, suddenly snapped with a snap, right where Kandata was hanging. Kandata couldn't believe it. In an instant, he was whirling through the air like a spinning top, and he plummeted headfirst into the dark abyss. All that remained afterward was the spider's thread from paradise, shimmering faintly in the empty space of the starless sky. Lord Buddha stood at the edge of the lotus pond in paradise, gazing intently at the entire unfolding scene. However, when Kandata eventually sank into the depths of the blood pond like a stone, a look of sorrow appeared on Lord Buddha's face, and he began to walk slowly once more. From Lord Buddha's perspective, Kandata's heart, driven solely by the desire to escape hell, had met with an appropriate punishment, causing him to fall back into the original hell. But the lotus flowers in the paradise's lotus pond paid no heed to such matters. Their pearl-like white blossoms swayed gently around the vicinity of Lord Buddha's feet. In the center of these flowers, golden stamens emitted an indescribably sweet fragrance that filled the surroundings continuously. Paradise was drawing closer to noon.